I think it's nice to have a community of people that you don't feel alone or, um, I don't know. I came from a largely Hispanic serving university, and then when I came here, it was very different. Like completely different culture, and I miss my home. But it's nice to see, um, other people that are representing like the same ideals and ideas that you had. So definitely seeing the same type of people that you identify with is really nice.
Yeah, I think so many of us URMs can develop imposter syndrome, not so much because, we lack confidence in ourselves, but because we keep getting or being told that we don't belong there, or we feel that we don't belong there. So being part of a community like USM sort of debunks those myths a little bit, because you look at these like amazing people that are also URMs and you're like, you know what? Yeah, they belong here, so why don't I, right? So I think it gives you strength. PhD is a difficult journey, right? And I wouldn't want to make it harder by just being the only person that looks like me in a department. So it's nice to be part of this community.
Or came from a similar background, because like sometimes I worry about the background that I had, especially compared to like other people that I see in my department. I'm like, oh my god, they went to this amazing university, and like I just went to the one in my hometown. So it's nice to see people from everywhere.
Sorry, so your question was what do we need to succeed?
Yeah, just what supports do underrepresented students need to be successful, especially particularly within the STEM field?
I feel like I personally needed people that I trusted in specific positions of power that could help me navigate the university. Unfortunately, many universities are places where white supremacy reigns supreme. And that's a very tough problem to try and tackle head on. But to at least have, I guess folks like peers to help support, but also knowing like faculty that are associated with the program, and like Leslie herself, for example, knowing that they have positions of power and can help navigate through rough situations has also been at least particularly useful for my success as well.
I felt like what helped me and what I could see being helpful sort of echoes what Joanna mentioned, in that having a support network to validate decisions that I'm making, or to give guidance on decisions. And so that both came from fellow students, but also largely from the leadership of USIM. And then in general, that's also been helpful for me throughout my PhD experience in my mentorship networks outside of USIM. I've felt like a lot of the students at MIT who have had success have done some pretty gutsy things. And I think one of the things that comes with imposter syndrome adjacent feelings is I'm going to walk the well-trodden route. I'm not going to sort of make any waves. I'm going to try to check the boxes that I need to check to finish, graduate. And it seems like a lot of folks have the confidence. Somehow it seems like a lot of folks identify risky decisions to make, and they have the confidence to go then make those risky decisions. So I think it's helpful for URM students to have access to that confidence, to people who can say, yes, that risky decision you're considering is a good risky decision, or consider this other risky decision. Like, this is something that I've seen other people do, and it's helped them a lot. So that's been helpful for me. One example, maybe a concrete example being, I talked to Leslie about my qualifying exam process. And I had to decide between sort of the standard route, which is to present the research that I did at the first part of my PhD. And then the non-standard route would be to present research that I did for my master's. And both are allowed for the qualifying exam process, but usually people present their current research to make their advisors happy. And the big swing for me was to say, I'm just going to present my master's thesis research because I didn't like what my advisor advised me to do for my research in a PhD program, but there was a lot to overcome, and my advisor would be upset if I failed quals. He'd be upset and potentially vindictive. So I needed a lot of guidance from Leslie to say, yeah, I think it's a reasonable, it sounds like your master's thesis work was good. Like that's a good decision to make. And that gave me the confidence to like make that decision, and it worked out very well for me. But had I not made the decision, then I could have still failed quals because of the research that I had done not being what I wanted it to be. So yeah, just that confidence to make big decisions.
And then just speaking about Leslie, you all in some way have named her as this great support, even a mentor for you all in many facets. What type of mentorship do you all receive as Sloan Scholars? In addition, how can it be improved?
Lots of conversations with Leslie. She is fantastic. She is absolutely great. I don't know how she has the time to do it whilst being a professor, and I think like a department head or something in the ECS, like professor, but also like a professor who hit the Mario who hits the star and glows and stuff. She's not like a regular professor. She's got a lot of responsibilities on top of being a regular professor. So the fact that she has so much time to talk to everybody in USIM, and she attends almost all of the events that USIM plans. So yeah, conversations with her, and also conversations with the other leadership in USIM, Ashley being one of the folks who I spoke with a lot. Those conversations were fantastic.
There's also been a recent effort, I think started during lockdown earlier this year, for a more formal mentorship network. So different faculty that I think were, again, recruited by Leslie from different departments that were, willing to be official mentors for some of the USIM scholars. And then USIM scholars were interested in this mentorship program. I think they all got together over, I think more than one Zoom event. And you'd have these breakout rooms to try and get to know each other and, see if there are faculty that you would be interested in getting mentored by. But like Dr. Phil said, Leslie, I really don't know how she has the time. When I got that grade, I cried in front of her, and I know that other people have as well. So it's good to try and remove the load from Leslie a little bit. So I appreciate that there's this more structured mentorship program, so that Leslie's not the only mentor there.
Pay Leslie more money. I don't know if she gets paid to do what she does, but if she does it, she does a lot. She should get paid. And jokingly pay her more money, but also see if she's not getting any sort of recognition for what she does a lot. And I imagine that whoever is in her position at these other universities, either they do a lot or they aren't able to do a lot because there's not that compensation there. If it's possible to make other people as helpful as Leslie, I imagine compensation would help that. I don't know if Leslie is getting compensated, but she does a ton. So yeah, if there's something if there's an award that you could give, any sort of recognition, any sort of compensation, right, that I think help the programs to keep great people like Leslie.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah, I wish that more faculty were more heavily involved. I know, efforts, as Joanna was saying, have been made to try and expand that and get us connections to faculty through lunches, so then we can spin off our own one-on-one connections with folks. And I think that's great, and I'm glad that's happening. I just wish there were more Leslies so that Leslie wasn't by herself doing all this work. And then I would say the additional thing is I'd love if we could expand our networking to folks outside of academia